Well, I hope you can hear us. We are mic'd up. I just don't know if it's that should be good. We'll find out. Well, tonight we're going to talk about melatonin and some problems in the supplement industry. I received an email this weekend from Dr. Peter Attia. I belong to his doctor's group and the newsletter. And he was talking about melatonin and studies of melatonin and what melatonin is used for. So I don't know who joined. I just saw somebody join. Can you hear us? If you would please tell us if you can hear us or not, that would be great. I guess if you reply, we know you can hear us. But anyway, melatonin is one of those things that is a hormone. Well, you want to explain what melatonin is to them? You've done the most recent research on it.
I don't honestly don't know what they. It is a hormone, but I wouldn't be able to tell you.
Okay, melatonin is typically used for to help sleep initiation. It does not help sleep maintenance. So if you're having problems with sleeping, then you really got to start to think about what phases of sleep are you having a problem with. Are you having a problem with initiation? Are you having a problem with maintenance of sleep? So when we start to look at this and vet this out, there's a couple of issues. One is people who take large amounts of melatonin have a problem with being groggy the next day. It's kind of, they call it the melatonin hangover. Go ahead.
You also have to be careful of when you time it and how long it stays in your body. It takes people longer to clear it, and then if you're waking up groggy after you take your melatonin for the evening, then you need to take it earlier.
And melatonin is really good. So we are traveling to California this weekend. It's not real good to time us getting there, but when we come back, if we start to take melatonin at the time of day when it's nighttime in Indiana, then it helps our circadian rhythm resync to Indiana time. So melatonin is used to help initiate sleep, and the micrograms that melatonin is used in are very small. So Dr. Attia himself uses, according to his newsletter, he uses about anywhere from zero point 0.1 to zero point 0.3 micrograms. And so these people taking mega doses of melatonin are not helping themselves, and the studies don't show that long-term usage of this, it doesn't show efficacy. You generally use melatonin to initiate sleep, get you into a good sleep cycle and sleep rhythm. It is it is also shown to help if you're using screens and stuff like that to help initiate that sleep, but it doesn't help with the maintenance.
And I think as a nurse, we used 3 milligrams or 6 milligrams, but the usual dose is 3 milligrams.
3 milligrams. Well, he was talking about
And
micrograms.
I don't. I've never heard. I have never seen melatonin dosed as micrograms, but that doesn't mean that he doesn't have a different type. Usually, the melatonin that you get over the counter, I believe it's 3 milligrams.
3 milligrams. Yeah. So when you're looking at how to use this, if you have to stay awake and be in front of a screen and you have a hard time going to sleep after you do that, then melatonin that's a proper usage or indication of using melatonin. But if you have no problems getting to sleep and you're having problems with sleep maintenance, then we need to address something different. And that could be where maybe your progesterone's off, maybe your estrogen's off, maybe one of the other hormones is off, because remember, melatonin is a hormone. Now, when we talk about issues with the supplementation industry, when Dr. Atia's group pulled melatonin, or the study pulled melatonin off of the shelves, the problem with the melatonin on the shelves, they found that most of the melatonin did not or was not where it said where the label read. And so, like with most things, it's not more is better. It is the balance of it is what is best. And so I think they said 88% of the 88% of the melatonin was mislabeled, and you are actually getting more, which if you get too much melatonin, it can actually hinder your own endogenous production of melatonin.
It can actually create the problem. So it'll either help you fall asleep or it actually keeps you awake.
And if you take melatonin after 10 o'clock, it starts to act like a stimulant. So there are little nuances to this. So when you're looking at the melatonin and you're looking at all of this, the the, the problem in the supplement industry, especially with things like this, is that they are mislabeled. And like I said, they found 88% were mislabeled. One of the products in the 25 products that they pulled off the shelves, one of the products didn't contain any melatonin in it, and it was a CBD product. And so that's where you really got to be careful of the source that you're getting, because if you're buying a brand that is not tested pre and post, then what happens to you is you don't know that what is on the label is actually in the product. And that's why a lot of vitamins, we have people say, oh, I buy this vitamin or that vitamin, and it's a cheaper brand than what we use, but then they're not getting the results. We find this a lot with berberine as well, because people will take berberine for blood sugar control, and then they're not getting it. And then when we switch them to the brands that we use, all of a sudden this starts to work. And so there is, when you can buy it over the shelf, over the counter, I should say, when you can buy these things over the counter and they're really inexpensive, you have to look and see if they're actually testing the product. And so any of the products that we use, you can actually look up the lot number, you can call the company, and they will send you the third party assay of what you have. So when you're trying to manipulate something as important as sleep, sleep is a foundation. When it comes to hormones, when it comes to resensitization of your cells to insulin, when it comes to these things, sleep is number one. And you have to have this stuff on point. Seen anything interesting in there you want to talk about?
Well, it doesn't really tell you. So that the study basically tells you that they are 88% of them had greater than 347% of what should have been in there. But it doesn't tell you like what it should have been. But some of the products had 31.3 milligrams of melatonin in them, and you shouldn't dose it more than 1 to 10. And they believe it should be microdosed, meaning the 0.1 to 0.3, because it takes a very tiny amount. It said the pineal gland, or pineal gland, however you like to pronounce it, only releases 0.1 micrograms in the evenings.
So that's kind of the long and the short of melatonin and melatonin dosing, and then basically the fraud that is in the vitamin industry. Is there anything else you'd like to add, Beb?
Well, so is who did this study?
Dr. Attia.
Okay, so Dr. Attia recommends never exceeding a 1 milligram dose, and you shouldn't use it nightly. But most of the over-counter melatonin supplements that you find in the stores are dosed anywhere from 1 to 20 milligrams, which can be in excess of 347% more than what you need to initiate sleep.
So this stuff is important, and it's important to pay attention to. And so if you have any questions about this, feel free to ask us about it. Hit us up on email or our Facebook or any of that stuff. And we love to answer questions. We love to educate. You have a great evening.